Hello people, welcome to the channel Free Management Education. Today we will discuss about the perception in organizational behavior. We will discuss about the perceptual process, the various effects in interpretation like halo effect, stereotyping, attribution, and perception, perceivers, attitude, beliefs, etc. and also factors affecting the perception. Moving on. So what is perception? In simple language, it means perceiving, that is giving meaning to the environment around us. Okay, it is the process by which individuals organize and interpret their sensory impressions in order to give meaning to their environment. Okay, suppose these are three lines. Okay, so we interpret them as three separate straight lines. Okay, but when these three lines are like this, we interpret them as a triangle. So we are interpreting, at first we are organizing and interpreting our sensory impressions in order to give meaning to them. Okay, these are three lines, we are giving meaning, and this is one triangle. So this is how you perceive it. This person sees that there are 4 logs here, and this person perceives that there are 3 logs here. Okay, moving on. So the perceptual process in a nutshell. So this is the perceptual inputs, our sensations, our stimulus, then the process how we selective perception, organizing and interpreting, then perception outputs, our values, our attitudes, our behavior. So we will describe them now. So at first of the process, we receive the stimulus, like when we attend to one specific thing in our environment through our 5 organs. Obviously, whether it is a smell, a feeling, a sound, or something else entirely, it becomes the attended stimulus. That is the stimulus that we are receiving. Okay, so it may be external to us, such as sound waves, heat, okay, and inside, such as energy generation by muscles, the things that we feel. These are inside, and those are external. Okay, so stimulus is when we attend to one specific thing in our environment through our 5 organs. So selection of stimulus. Now people selectively perceive objects or things which interest to them most in a particular situation and avoid those for which they are indifferent. Suppose you went to a zoo. You obviously, not obviously, but most of the people like to see the wild animals like the tiger, lion. So people selectively perceive objects or things which interest to them most in a particular situation and avoid those for which they are indifferent. Like, I don't know any people who visit zoo just to see the monkeys, right? So this is it, the selective perception. This is also called selective perception. External factors relate to stimuli such as intensity of stimuli, its size, its movement, its repetition. Okay, internal ones relate to the perceiver such as his or her age, learning, interest. This selective perception involves the following psychological principles. Like at first, the figure grounding principles. The meaningful bits and pieces of a stimuli are called figure, and the meaningless ones are labeled as ground. Take the same example of the zoo. You see the tiger as the figure that is meaningful to you, and a deer or a monkey as ground. That is okay, it's okay, we can just see them, but tiger and the lion are most important. So these are figure and ground. More attention is given to figure and less to ground. Relevancy. People selectively perceive things that they consider relevant to meet their needs, their desires. If you went to a restaurant, you obviously don't want anything that is common, right? So you obviously went to restaurant just to have something extra, to have something desirable. So people selectively perceive things that they consider relevant to meet their needs and desires. Next, organization of stimuli. This is the third point. Having selected stimuli or data, these needs to be organized in some form so as to assign some meanings to them. Like I gave the example of these 3 lines. Okay. So when we organize them in the form of a triangle, then we can interpret that this is a triangle. So there are ways to organize them, like grouping. It is based on the similarity or proximity of various stimuli perceived. Like the tendency to group stimuli, that is people or things appearing similar in a certain ways, has been a common means of organizing the perception. Like for example, you group some people whose income level is less than 1,000 per month, or group some people whose income level is 50,000 per month. So this is grouping, that is people or things appearing similar in a certain ways. Now closure. When people faced with incomplete information, they tend to fill the gaps themselves to make it more meaningful. They do it on the basis of their experience, hunches, guess or past data. Thus the tendency to form a complete message from an incomplete one is known as closure. Suppose you take the example of the cyclones that occur every year in India, right? So we know how devastating it can be. So we just predict them because of our previous experiences. That is closure. That is the tendency to form a complete message from an incomplete one. Next, simplification. Like when people find themselves overloaded with information, they simplify it to make it more meaningful. I don't think I have to explain this. You just make an example of your own. In this process, they subtract the less salient information and concentrate on important ones. Next comes the interpretation, the fourth point. The data collected and organized remain meaningless for the perceiver till these are assigned meanings. Okay. Obviously, if there is no meaning, then the entire data that we collected and we organized, it has no use. Assigned meanings of data is called interpretation. Obviously, that is called interpretation. Several factors influence interpretation. These are, at first, the halo effect. It is important. Drawing a general impression about an individual based on a single characteristic or trait is also called the halo effect. Like an employee may be rated as bad in one trait but good in other traits. Suppose I see a person and I see that he's laughing a lot and making weird jokes. So I will have the first impression that he's not serious in his life or in his work, or he's very much fun loving, but inside he or she may be that much serious about something. Okay, so that is halo effect. We draw a general impression about an individual based on single characteristics. I just draw an impression just because that person was laughing so much, okay, and making weird jokes. So that is halo effect. Then comes attribution, like explaining human behavior in terms of cause and effect is called attribution. For example, if a prosperous worker does overtime on any day, it is perceived that he has done it in the interest of the organization. But if a poor worker also does the same, the action or behavior is perceived as being for money. So that is called distorted perception. This attribution, thus attributing casual explanation to a particular human behavior sometimes tend to distorted perception. So always the cause and effect does not give the actual perception. Next comes stereotyping. When we judge someone on the basis of our perception of the group to which he or she belongs, we are using the shortcut called stereotyping. Like I can see that this person belongs to this political party, then irrespective of his actual self, we judge that this person is wrong, that this person is bad. Okay, so we are judging someone because they belong to that particular group. It means individual preconceived notions about ethnicity, place, religion, etc. For example, you know that some religions are not so popular, like Hinduism. So I am not taking the names, just to make you understand that we have preconceived notions about some religions. There may be very good people in some particular religion, but we perceive them as bad because they belong to that particular religion, even also in place or ethnicity, like that. So that is stereotyping. Next comes the personality. Personality of the perceiver also affects what is to be perceived. What is the personality of the perceiver? Is he a calm? Is he an open person? Is he a hot-headed person, like that? Like secure individuals tend to perceive others as warm or fun-loving, like that, and insecure and non-accepting individuals are less likely to perceive others around them. Okay, they are always suspicious about another person. They are insecure person. Situation or context in which we observe or see things also influences our perceptions about them. Suppose we are having exam pressure, then obviously it's logical that we won't see things clearly. So any kind of pressure, not only exam pressure, I just gave an example. Next comes the perceiver. The perceiver's attitude, motives, interests, past experience and expectations are among the more relevant personal factors, characteristics that affect the perception. So this is just go through it and you will understand it. Action. It is the resultant behavior of the individual emerging from the perceptual process. You have selected, you have organized, you have interpreted. Now your action. Okay, the action may be negative or positive depending upon the favorable perception held by the perceiver. Action may also be covert or overt. Covert action relates to change in attitude, opinion, feelings, impressions. Like I see someone giving a bad speech, so I develop an opinion about that person. So that is a change, that is a covert action. I am not doing anything. Overt actions may be in the form of one's behavior easily noticeable and visible. Now suppose I see that person giving a bad speech, so I speak loudly to them. So I protest like that. So that is an overt action. That is, this behavior is easily noticeable and visible. Okay, I hope this is clear up till now. Okay, now comes the factors affecting the perceptions, like internal factors like needs and desires of that person, the personality type of that person, the experience. If that person is experienced and have that knowledge which can serve as a basis for perception, like the successful experience enhances like his or her perceptive ability. Okay, successful experience also helps perceiver understand stimuli with greater accuracy. Okay, like if you have experience in dealing with electronic devices, you know better, okay, which product to buy. So that is experience. Then comes the external factors like size. Like the larger the object, the more the probability that it is to be perceived. Okay, like size attracts the attention. A full page spread advertisement attracts more attention than a few lines in a classified section. Obviously, you have seen that, right? Intensity, like the more intense it is related to size. Actually, the more intense the stimuli, the more likely it is to be noticed or perceived. Okay, like a loud noise or a strong smell will be noticed more than a soft sound and a weak smell. Okay, frequency or repetition, like this repetition principle states that the repeated external stimulus is more attention getting than a single one. Like the advertisers go for repetitions advertising to gain customers' attention. Okay, there are many advertisements just to catch the customer's attention. Next comes the contrast, like external stimuli which stands out against the background will receive more attention. Like for example, if you see a black dot on a white page, that is much that grabs much more attention, right? So that is contrast. So then comes status, like status held by an individual also influences his or her perception. Like people with high status often exert more influence on the perception of an individual as compared to those holding low status. Okay, so this is it. I hope you liked it. So this is the end of this video. So thanks for watching. Please do like, comment and subscribe to this channel for more updates. Okay, and my email ID is given in the description box. Do comment if you want some specific videos on some specific topics. Okay, thank you. Stay safe. Take care of your family.